Hi, I'm Seamless, and this is the 59th 75K tutorial. And this one was requested by YungEyez, and is this sound. Which is from the track Resonance by Home. Yeah, and this is the sound that I got. Cool. So normally this would be, well, actually, normally at the end of the videos where I would tell you that if you want to make a request for yourself, please go to the Reddit thread. And it turns out the Reddit thread got archived. And if you don't know what that means, it means that you can't comment on it anymore, which is kind of unfortunate. So I'm not going to be taking any new 75K requests. Considering there's only 15 of these left, I think it's pretty fine. Because as of right now, on this thread, there is 2,329 comments. Maybe like 100 of those are actually just like replies to comments, but there are a few. There's enough requests. I have enough requests to do at least 15 more of these, so pretty fine. I apologize. I didn't foresee that this would be a thing. The thread itself has been around. Apparently, it's been up for 6 months, and I guess that's when you archive stuff. I don't actually know how that works. I had assumed since because people were commenting on it regularly that it wouldn't be archived. I was wrong. So, my bad. Anyway, let's talk about this sound. So, in here, we can infer pretty much everything we want to know about the sound by looking at what Edison's doing. Stupid arrow button. So we can see here's a big pad, which is just super soft, big pad. And you can see the filter comes up, it comes back down. This is a low pass filter. But you can still see kind of activity in the background. And that is just like, that's reverb and delay. The do-do-do-do-do. You can even see the little delay right there kind of going on. Looks like the delay itself is low pass, which I didn't do, but and then a little bit of reverb. And then also you can kind of see this grainy mess in the background. That's white noise. Well, maybe not specifically white noise, but it's got white noise qualities, and I used white noise to mimic that. So let's do essentially this, and that's essentially what I did. Made a supersaw, put it in a filter. Now this supersaw is pretty low pitch. It's like middle of the road pitch, but not usually high enough for what I would normally do for like a actual like lead saw. This saw gives us enough kind of, it self-modulates a bit that when it reacts with the filter, it gives that kind of meowy kind of sound. That's what's going on in the sound. It's hard to pick out when we have the full saw on because of the high frequency phase cancellation, but the lower harmonics are really all that we're paying attention to. And when it's the filter, it does the job. And then the noise. It's basically low pass, and then the next filter, and then high pass again, so it's very specific. And then in the effects, I have the delay set to 1.0 time, which means it's every 16th note. I didn't even check what BPM this was at, so like I'm wildly off of whatever, but it's there. Also a lot of reverb, which is in there in the effects as well, both on the saw and the noise itself. There's also chorus engaged, which is just a little bit of extra sort of self-modulation on the kind of movement side of it. Pretty deep, but pretty slow. So the modulation doesn't happen. It's not like... It's very phasery almost. Which is good times. You do want to play chords that have a good mix of like low and high. That kind of it's the notes you're playing are going to influence the harmonic content that are determined that makes the sound be the way it is. Other important things are that the low pass filter that I'm using to be the cutoff here is a very tight one. In the real world, what this will look like is, because you get your regular low pass, it's pretty, even with rather high resonance, it's still kind of huge. But you want it to be pretty tight, so that it's not necessarily peaking at the cutoff to create super resonance, but it's sharp enough that you get the feel that it makes, which is that kind of sound. And you can kind of one of the neat things about using the envelope for doing this is that you can actually change it on the fly, because you can see here that like not every moment of modulation is identical. And in fact, some of them are quite specifically not. And the way that you would automate that is you can either just change the cutoff value, or you can alter once you make these curves here. As long as you keep the sort of the ADSR settings on, you can actually alter it with the actual ADSR. So for that particular modulation change specifically, you'd want to alter the decay so that it cuts off faster. And that's more or less this sound. So yeah, super sorry about the 75K thread. But we're getting pretty close to 100K anyway, so don't worry about it. There'll be some more. I'm not going to do 100 of these tutorials. What's going to happen, actually, I've talked about it before, but I guess you can consider this an announcement. But what's going to happen for the 100K is I'm going to do 50 of this. And then essentially making up the credit for the other half is I'm going to do essentially a sort of a viewer collab kind of thing where I just let people send me stuff and then it'll end up in a song. So yeah, but when that comes around, we'll talk about that. In the meantime, though, no more requests. It's sad. I'm sorry. If you have any, well, this preset will be available for download in the video description of this video. If you have any questions about this, please let me know. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And as usual, have a nice day.